Well, hey crazy friends, this is our bonus video for our Bankhead National Forest top 5 hikes. This is our dishonorable mention. You know, some hikes end in amazing, beautiful, wonderful waterfalls, and some hikes end in therapy sessions. And that's what happened to us today in Bankhead. All right, so our number 0.
Big zero.
Our dishonorable mention.
And it's really not this trail's fault. It
Well,
really isn't.
It kind of is.
No.
Is Shangri-La Falls. We had heard from several people that it was a beautiful
And
little
I'm sure
falls,
it is.
but we heard after the fact that it was super hard to get to. Then there's actually not a marked trail. You kind of have to like forage your own to get there. Again, we heard that afterwards. And GPS directions not the best in the world because there is not a designated trailhead. And so we took off to go find this trail.
And that's where it really went bad. So I'm going to share this one because truly it was incredibly traumatic for me as a mom. So we started going, we turned off a regular road. Everything was going great. We're jamming out to our music and we're having a great time. We are ready because the pictures on All Trail were breathtaking. It had amazing reviews, and we just were headed on, and then we turned off onto this dirt road, and it had been raining, so because it's in the National Forest, sometimes it rains, and you kind of have rain most days a little bit, and so it had been raining. It was a little muddy, and I remember saying to Jay, this looks a little sketchy. Like, this just looks a little sketch. I'm not sure about this. There were huge kind of boulders, and I felt like we were kind of rocking and rolling in the big red van, and it just didn't feel right. It felt really nerve-wracking, and Jay's like, it's fine, it's fine. If you don't know us, you'll know I am always, the sky is falling, and Jay is always like, everything's fine. Yeah, and so somewhere in the middle is where most of our experiences happen, but this one really was more the sky was falling situation. And so we ended up going down this really sketchy dirt road, and I kept seeing these signs like no trespassing, and then I would see a sign that was like hunting grounds, bow hunting, and all of that, and I'm thinking, this doesn't look right at all. I'm not seeing any signage. And so after we kind of go a little while, it's looking really rough. We're kind of just getting smaller and smaller on the road. I say to Jay, let's just stop and let's check this out. And so he checks it.
We were trying to follow the GPS, and the problem was here in all these little back dirt roads up in the area, the app that we were using, the pin that it dropped was actually between two roads.
Yeah.
And so it had taken us down this road. So when we got to the end of our directions, you have arrived.
No, we didn't.
But you're going to have to walk another
so bad.
3/4 of a mile to get to the trailhead. And so I pulled out the app and I looked at Google Maps, Google Earth, and figured out that we were just on one dirt road over too far. Like, we needed to be one dirt road over, so we needed to go back out. And so, hey, all we need to do is just turn around.
Turn around a 15-passenger van on a dirt road? I don't think so.
No big deal.
Easier said than done, my friend.
So we're driving down and we see a little turnoff to the side. And so, hey, I'm going to turn right off, just do a little 3 or 12-point turn and get us headed back the other direction and headed out. So we pull up, wheels just barely over the little hump that went down before it went down this hill to this road, and put it in reverse, and we didn't reverse. It started spinning out. And I thought, oh, this is not good. And so we'll go a little bit further. I'll get my back wheels up on top of the little hump, and then we'll try to back out. Do that? Nope. And so then it's just,
so we just kept
went from
going
bad to worse.
further and further
and so
down this ravine.
Then we were kind of committed pointing down this ravine, and so it was a pretty little drop down to the bottom before the road. Found out later it's a road to a hunting trail. And so then by the time we got to the bottom, we couldn't back the 15 passenger back up, And then we couldn't. There's no way to turn it around down in there.
No, and we're trying, like, we're putting sticks up underneath.
Yeah.
We're going up and grabbing rocks
Boulders, yeah.
and gravel from the road. We're doing
Nothing.
every kind of thing that we could imagine, and it's
there's
getting
no
worse.
way.
We
Yeah.
are just digging into the mud. It is going from bad to worse.
Yeah.
And so we have no cell phone signal. Not even, it says no service. Not even a dot.
And that is, if you're going to hike in Bankhead, you know that ahead of time.
Yes.
Download your maps before you go. We learned that about halfway through. There is zero cell phone coverage in 90% of these little hollows that are up in there.
Which is beautiful and scenic until it's not.
Yeah.
And so
you need to call a tow company.
It was terrible. And so Jay says, I'm going to have to walk
We're
back
3 miles down this dirt road. So I'm going to have to hike back out until I can get cell phone signal. Yeah. And then meet a tow truck and come back. That's all we have to do.
Mm-hmm. Simple, right? Yeah. Sounds great.
Well, luckily, kind Samaritan came by.
Police officer.
Picked me up. He was off-duty police officer. Yep. And his family and his wife and his son with him. And so they picked me up and took me out to a place where they knew there was some cell phone signal. It's a volunteer fire department. And so I went there, made a call. There was a little small engine repair shop, a little barn beside it, and these guys invited me in to sit with them while we were waiting.
Meanwhile, I am by myself in the middle of a hunting ground, by myself, no cell phone service, 5 kids in the car, and here we sit. We have no idea where Jay is, when he's coming back, if he got there. We have no clue. No clue at all.
I can't call or text them back to tell them, hey, I've got to wait an hour on the tow truck.
No. Well, I do have to rewind something because this is kind of a silly story on me. But I'm going to tell myself here. But when the police officer was coming down, Jay had already started to hike. And so I had gone behind a tree to go to the restroom. And so here comes this car. And I don't know, I felt like I was on a beach island, like that this was the only truck that was ever going to come by. And I didn't even think to myself that Jay is only a few steps away. But I jump out of this tree, barely even have my pants on, and I'm jumping out and waving him down. And I know he's thinking, oh my gosh, who is this woman with pulling her pants up, jumping out behind a tree, flagging me down like I'm the last plane on a desert island. And so here he comes down. He still did it in COVID, mind you. He comes down, allows Jay in the back of his truck. And so here we sit after he's gone. Here the kids and I sit. And so we had plenty of gas, thank goodness. We keep the car on. We have the air conditioned. The kids are watching movies. And I'm thinking, it's okay. I'm not thinking it. I'm not really worried. I'm not stressed until a few people start to drive by at the top of the ravine and they start to slow down. At that moment, the mama bear in me starts to say, oh, but what if they're not nice? Oh, but what if these are not good Samaritans? What if these guys are up to no good or these gals are up to no good? And so the mama bear started to slink and to go, oh my goodness, I am caught in the woods. I have no idea where I am. I have no idea where my husband is. I have no cell phone service. But the good news is I got snacks for days. And so the back of our car was full of all the food that we can't keep in the camper. So at least through the fear, I was able to feed the kids and we acted like everything was fine. But inside, I was terrified. Some people have asked me if I heard banjos, and I actually had no idea what they were talking about, but they realized after this story that it was a little bit like a bad story of deliverance. And so it kind of felt like that. I've never seen the movie, nor have I seen it since. I don't think I want to because it's a little traumatic for me, but I felt like we were in the middle of nowhere, which we were, and it was just very helpless in those moments to not be able to call for help, to not know where your husband is, to have no idea. And so that's kind of the traumatic part, but then the story gets better.
So then we wait about an hour on the tow truck because, again, we're out in the middle of nowhere. So AAA had to call. I don't even know from where this guy came. But he finally came, found me at the fire station. I was able to direct him back, ride with him back, show him where we were at. And so then he doesn't really want to get his truck back down that hill. And I don't blame him. And so he decides he's just going to try to do it from the very top of the ravine. And so he stretches out all of his cable, and it's not anywhere near far enough. And he goes and pulls all of his chains out, and they're still short. And so then he goes and gets some straps that he's going to try to use. And I think he just underestimated how heavy Big Red is.
How big Big Red is.
And so I think we broke straps 4 times.
And meanwhile, I'm just starting to sweat. I'm thinking, we're never, ever going to get out of here. Ever. We're going to leave the car for dead.
He just didn't want to move. So finally, once we broke, I said, 4 of his straps. Then he backed down.
We only broke 4 of his straps.
Down to the cab so that there was enough for his cable, got us hooked up, and of course he pulled us right out. But then he's part of the way down the hill. So then it took like 5 times because he'd have to pull us up a little bit. I'd put it in park. He'd undo the chain. He'd drive further out. He'd hook the chain back up. He'd pull me back up, and then I'd put it in park. And then he gets me right to the top. Right to the top. So that my back tires, I'm still not quite out in the road. And he starts unhooking. And I'm thinking, okay, he's unhooking to go pull up again to pull me out a little bit further. And then he comes back with the paperwork, and he's like, "I just need you to sign here." And I'm like, "Whoa, buddy, I'm not quite out." He said, "Oh yeah, you're fine."
No, we're not.
I said,
No,
"I don't
we're not
think
fine.
so." I said, "This is the second place I got stuck. I know I can't get out from here." He said, "No, why don't you try it?" So I get in, spin out, and he's looking at me like I'm an idiot, like, "Hey, this yuppie doesn't know." And I'm like, "Hey, buddy, you want to try?" So he gets in. So then he has to pull up again, hook up one more time to get us finally completely out. He was a super nice guy. We were so happy to have him.
We can laugh now, but I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, it was pretty.
We got in the car, and I didn't say a word. And Jay's like, "What do you want to do about dinner?" I'm like, "We're going to Jack's. I'm getting some French fries. I'm getting a Diet Coke, and I'm getting a big old juicy hamburger because I'm telling you what, I'm not talking about this trip forever."
I think this was the second hike that we attempted in the 2 months. And I will tell you, from that point on, anytime we got on a dirt or gravel road, she started getting the
I'm like, nope, we can't do this. We can't do this. So now, if you ever mention Shangri-La Falls to our family, I'm sure it's a beautiful, beautiful place. You should find it.
We don't have any idea.
But we're not going to go with you. Yeah. We're not going because I'm never going back to Shangri-La Falls again because it was truly a really, 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 really bad day for our family.
So that's our dishonorable mention.
So, as Jay said at the beginning, it's really true. Some hikes are beautiful. They're incredible, and everything along the way works out exactly as you wanted. And then some truly do end in therapy sessions. But I'll tell you, it's just like life. We have been married 23 years almost, and we have found that to be true in parenting. We found that to be true in marriage. We found that to be true in ministry and in work, and of course in traveling. It's no different. So sometimes your journey, your hike through life is going to be incredibly beautiful. There's going to be mountaintop experiences, waterfall moments. Everything is just clicking along wonderfully. Everyone's happy. The payoffs are huge, and you're feeling like you're doing everything right.
Well, the thing about mountaintop experiences is there's a valley between every 2 mountaintops, and sometimes that's just the way it is in life. You just have to go through those moments. It's not all top 5s. Sometimes it's the
dishonorable mentions.
Dishonorable mentions are the bottom.
It is,
5.
but you've just got to keep hiking. You got to keep going. You've got to go on the next hike.
Yeah.
Wake up.
Get on that next gravel road.
Yeah, no, but not that. Not yet. I'm not quite there yet. I'm not there yet. Anyway, but you know what? You have to get up that next day and parent those kids again, to love them a little bit longer than you think you can.
You got to forgive your spouse, give them a kiss, and get up the next day and start over again.
You do. And so you just keep putting one foot in front of the other, keep driving 1 mile after the other, and just keep hanging on to your crazy faith. Stay connected as best you can to your crazy family, and really know that even the worst of days are super crazy fun after the fact.
And when all else fails, call the tow truck. So we want to say a special thank you to all of our new subscribers. We have picked up so many even just in the last week. We are just starting out on this journey, and we appreciate you committing to follow along with us. If you haven't, hey, don't worry, right now is your chance. You can like this video. You can also hit that subscribe button right up there so that you don't miss out on any of the crazy adventures that's coming. If you missed our last video, see those top 5 of Bankhead, you can click and catch that as well.
Hey, and don't miss next week's video because we're going from mountaintops to beautiful sandy beaches. It's the best RV park on the beach you'll find, so don't miss it next week.
See you next time.